The US has problems because it's the world reserve currency. The world reserve currency status gives artificial strength to the dollar and artificial strength to dollar. I just wanted to circle back on this topic and bring back the concept of these rare earths that China seems to have a chokehold on the rest of the world. It's really not clear to me that Wall Street and the world more broadly is appreciating the reality that we're living in. So to put it simply, this Wall Street Journal article, if you see China flexes chokehold on rare earth magnets as exports plunged in May. The subheader reads, curbs on magnets used in EVs, jet fighters are at core of recent US-China trade tensions. Now this was June 19th, so not within the last week, but close. But I just wanted to resurface the fact that China seems to have everyone by the gonads, especially when it comes to war. We heard on this show, we played a Marco Rubio clip where he said the U.S. can't actually enter war for any sustained period of time without China rare earths. And the fact that this is at the nucleus of the trade war is critically important. And the world really needs to deeply, deeply, deeply understand the leverage that China carries. So I go on. We see Israel and Iran claim victory as ceasefire takes hold. The New York Times. Iran's president signaled that his country would be open to talks about its nuclear ambitions. A preliminary classified U.S. report concluded that American airstrikes, had not fully destroyed Iranian nuclear sites as President Trump has claimed. Now listen, I don't know whether the airstrikes actually destroyed Iran's nuclear program. I mean, come on, what are we kidding? I don't know, and that's not the point of the show. The point of the show is I thought the ceasefire was a little peculiar. Trump announced victory, and then all of a sudden, Iran and Israel were still throwing missiles at each other and bombing each other. It didn't seem like Israel wanted to ceasefire, but Trump claimed a ceasefire victory. And then all of a sudden, Iran said, you didn't actually hit anything of ours. You're bluffing, you're faking. It was a little weird, wasn't it? It was a little weird. Hey, not a political show, but it was a little weird. And my point is this. This is an idea from Luke Groman where there's another interpretation of what happened between Israel and Iran, is that nobody could go to war unless China is willing to give you the rare earths, including the U.S. And so what actually happened is China said, yo, we need to get our oil from Iran. And so everyone's going to stop war because we want our oil. And we're not supplying rare earths to any of you bozos. And Trump obviously is going to spin it as credit. China's $1.3 trillion wealth fund retreats from Wall Street. Loyal Jack Mallard Show listeners, are we going to say I told you so? No, because that's not who we are. We would never say that. But we told you so. We told you so. What did we tell you? As a reminder, listen, the U.S. has problems because it's the world reserve currency. The world reserve currency status gives artificial strength to the dollar and artificial strength to dollar assets. How? Why? The U.S. structurally runs a trade deficit. When you're the world reserve currency, you have to structurally print dollars or whatever the currency is and hand them out to the rest of the world. If the rest of the world needs your currency, how does the rest of the world get your currency? Well, your job is to issue it to them. So you don't actually export real goods. You don't run in a surplus. You don't do more proof of work than you import. You just print paper effectively on net and you hand it out. Now, everyone is getting what you can all think of as U.S. store credits. These U.S. store credits aren't good in China, aren't good in India, aren't good in Russia. China doesn't want to turn around and use the dollars to invest in their local domestic economy because it will strengthen their currency. It will weaken their export business. It'll make labor, for example, a lot more expensive. So they have to take the dollars and they have to invest them right back into the United States. And it used to be, just deposit them into a bank, deposit them into U.S. treasuries. But now all of a sudden, no one wants long duration treasuries. No one wants to be part of the U.S. banking system. And China has been buying all sorts of U.S. assets, scarce assets, the Mag 7, real estate, land. Check this out. China's $1.3 trillion sovereign wealth fund spent years as one of the most sought after investors in the world. It owned massive stakes in Blackstone and Morgan Stanley, struck deals with Goldman Sachs, and plowed tens of billions, that's a B, billions of dollars into funds across Wall Street. Okay, so if Trump wants to shrink our deficit, get back to a surplus nation, if Trump wants to bring manufacturing back into the United States of America, we've talked about this endlessly on this show. What does he have to do? Well, neutral reserve assets have to play a bigger role in the global economy and in global trade. We're talking about gold. We're talking about Bitcoin. The dollar has to get weaker. If you want labor to be valuable here again, the dollar's got to go down. The dollar's down 10% since January 1st, 2025. What else has to happen? You have to renegotiate trade with China. Either tariffs, which will bring their revenue down and our revenue up, or capital controls, which will kick their capital out of the country. The America First trade policy that Trump implemented in February basically said, in more or less words, China, get your money out of the country. Now, China has said, okay, look at this headline. $1.3 trillion wealth fund. Okay, we're out. What happens? Dollar down, stocks down, bonds down. Dollar down, stocks down, bonds down means money's leaving America. Stocks down, but bonds up, that means money's going from risk on to risk off, right? Everything down, that means foreign trade surpluses that have funded American exceptionalism over the years are saying, okay, this monetary regime is over. We get it. Goodbye. We're going to buy gold. We're going to buy Bitcoin. All you need to do is look at a chart to see that I'm not making this up. This is literally factual representation of what's been going on. Now, what's fascinating is, first of all, for people to say, Jack's such a hater. American exceptionalism wasn't in part funded by the trade surplus of our partners around the world. That's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. Oh, really? Until you realize that China's sovereign wealth fund is the one that owns but massive stakes in Blackstone, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, to name a few. Oh, whoops. You didn't realize how much of your 50 times tech stock earnings were funded by China? Oh, whoops. And when I say, yeah, so the stock market is going to get obliterated. You say, bro, no, it's not. The stock market keeps going up. In dollar terms, it keeps going up, but I guarantee you it's going to get smoked in Bitcoin terms. It's going to get smoked in gold terms. In fact, it already is. Over the last 5 years, stock market's down 85% against Bitcoin, and we're just getting started. I guarantee you the